Well, everybody, it's been another 2 months, in fact, I believe, because we missed last month, so my normal intro was all fucked up. But nonetheless, the crew is back together to talk about Vinland Saga Chapter 199. Did I get that right, Bacon?
Yes, you did.
And that's Jarkey Bacon you're hearing right now. He's going to introduce himself.
That's me. It's me. I'm here. Oh, I definitely didn't sleep in because Kyle said we're late. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get another...
EliteAri is the only one that didn't delay here today. And that's a fella that's also here.
Yep. Hi, everyone. I'm EliteAri. Or I'm OrdinaryAri because I'm unscripted right now. But, yep. Vinland Saga.
Wow. Will he speak more than 5 minutes? We'll have to see.
We'll see.
Watch the whole video to find out.
More than 5 minutes. That's quite a bit.
That's your New Year's resolution or something, right, Ari?
True. I need to talk more.
Exactly.
Well, on this title page, it says 1,000-Year Voyage Part 8. Bacon's mad about the lazy titles again, but it also has Season 2 of the anime airing now.
Oh, so mad.
And that brings
so
up...
angry.
Yes, it makes me furious, but it also brings up that probably on after Monday at some time, we're probably going to be doing us and Maya, I believe, fellow Vinland Saga YouTuber, probably talking about the first 4 episodes of the anime, because we just can't schedule out to do it every week. That's why you haven't been seeing any Vinland Saga Season 2 content here on this channel. But yes, we will be doing it at some point in some grand sense. And I'm pretty sure everybody here is going to be doing it, right?
Yeah, and we will be complaining, but also we will be fighting probably. I don't know.
At this point, I've only seen the first episode, so I don't have that much to complain about. But we'll get over that when we watch the next 3, huh? But ignoring this shitty motion cartoon, we got a chapter to talk about. So I guess we'll do overall thoughts, and we'll start with Jarkey Bacon because he leads the way on these types of discussions.
Man, I have so many thoughts on this. No, it's more just like extra spice. We're cooking, we're heating up.
Very long chapter,
was crying on Twitter about how he wants to end it or something like that. He wasn't sure how he wanted to quite go about these things or something, which gave us all a bit of pause. But yeah, I thought I really liked the art this chapter actually. The human posing. I thought that was really cool. And there's a lot of spice. Everybody's kind of popping off right now. And the monthly binge is only going to get more and more, or monthly reading is going to get more and more annoying, basically.
Assuming we get another chapter next month and there's not another break, huh?
Well, so in November, he did say he's not doing one in December, but no one knew that until December rolled around.
Okay.
We felt stupid. But October, yeah, he did dip, unfortunately, without us knowing.
Well, we'll just ride it out either way. Next time will be chapter 200. I'm sure we'll predict the big things that are going to happen in 200 next, not next time, but at the end of the video. EliteAri, how about your overall thoughts?
This was a great chapter. I would say I was actually thinking about, like, since I caught up and I've been reading month to month or like every 2 months or whatever, this felt like the one where I was like, wow, a lot happened in this one. Maybe even more so than the one where Misek Pikue's hand got chopped off, but this was great. So I'll go with that.
Yeah,
nice. Yes.
It is longer than usual, right, Bacon? 27 pages?
Well, it's got a lot of extra fluff at the start here. It's got this new picture, and at the end, it's only 24 pages. So it's maybe like a few pages longer than usual. You know, we can get like in the 18-page range. So yeah. But sometimes we get the whole big old 31, which was chapter 191 back in the day. But we don't get those anymore.
Bacon knows all these chapters, right? I remember that video. He broke down the page lengths. Not lengths.
That one's getting a lot of views as well.
Numbers, yeah.
I need to make... I've got such a good clickbait Hild video, and I haven't been working on it because I've got an amazing podcast coming out, which I need to work on.
Everybody will be able to check out on the Jarkey Bacon channel in the near future. Right?
Yeah. Oh, and by the end of January, hopefully.
Yes.
But that's getting shorter and shorter.
Well, I don't know. My overall thoughts are basically the same. It felt longer. There was some things happening, and it was a fun time. The chapter is sort of broken into 3 parts. We got sort of the narration at the beginning, but that's really only like a page. And then we get Einar and Thorfinn, and then we get the gang of evil brothers, which I don't know if we had confirmed that they were brothers, but Stork does say that he's
No.
that Ivar's his older brother. I'm remembering these names, all right? Don't be impressed. But yeah, then we get that scene, and that's sort of the chapter. Do you want to elaborate on the brothers thing, Bacon, or we just didn't know?
So when yeah, I didn't know either, but like he says, make my big bro.
Oh,
So
okay.
Anyway, I read it. I was like, is that? I guess that is older brother, but at the same time, like, I was like,
could
is
just
that
be
just like slang speak,
a casual
or like a
bro.
I
way
think
of
they're brothers.
translating it? Yeah.
I've been saying they're brothers since we first met them in that field, and we see their tattoos and stuff. Because there was like
I
some weird
guess-
translation back then where it was like they did say brother as well, but I wasn't sure if in the Japanese it was or not. But
Yeah, that was true. Yeah, we did hark on that a little bit. There, I'll have a quick look at that chapter. You guys chat a little bit.
Okay, indeed.
All right.
At the beginning, we'll return to the brothers' point. At the beginning, we get a bit of a narration here. You may as well read it piece
yeah, wait,
by piece.
can someone clarify this for me? The first page of this chapter, we get this house, right? Like with the straw or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, and we've seen a house like this before. Is this just what like the type of house they built from like Greenland or whatever? Is that what that's meant to be? Like, are these the houses our settlers are living in?
I assume so.
Yes, this is the
Okay.
Norse type of house. If you go to, the reason why they're this style is because it's like they've you know when they sailed over and they saw the arrow in the other house.
Yeah, that's what I was reminded of. That house.
So
yeah.
that house there was also a Norse house. I think that's in the spot historically where we've actually found a Norse house in Canada called
Okay.
Le Meadow, because it's French. It's got meadow at the end, Lons Meadow or whatever. So I'm sorry for the pronunciation. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. But
All right.
yeah, it's like Norse because they've got bricks and it's like a permanent spot. While like if it was more native people, they would be able to move their settlement because that's like the differences, I think.
Oh, okay, makes sense. All right.
Indeed. All right. The little Bacon, did you find the thing, or do you want me to continue?
Continue, keep on going.
Okay. We got a narration here at the beginning. Around 1 month has passed since the thing which devolved into violence and the outer wall, I'm doing a good job, of Arneid's village has been completed. I'll just record the thing before the little note. Nearly all men set aside farm work in order to take part in its construction. Armed forces spread in Vinland, where a second sowing is underway. So yes, the fort is continuing. We see weapons. We got spears, basically. Thorfinn did lose that argument, and now we are buying a thing. And it says nearly all the men stopped doing farm work, because we would then see Einar and Thorfinn, who are not taking part, continuing doing the farm work. This sort of brings up the gender dynamics, and we had a bit of I can't remember if this was when EliteAri was around yet.
No.
It wasn't, yeah, but the sort of how we had sort of a hard gender split, and this is sort of continuing here, where it's like basically all the men, they become lazy pricks, and by lazy I mean they're doing other work that doesn't matter to the women, and they're just building their dumb fort, and fucking everything up because men are dumb. That's the conclusion we came to, right, Bacon, back then?
Sure. Yes. Men are the worst. I hate all of them.
Me too. Glad we're all in agreement.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it says nearly all men. Yeah. I do wonder if it like includes other people outside of Einar and Thorfinn. I mean, I'm looking at this field and it doesn't look like anybody else is there. So probably not. I kind of wish
Wonder what Bug
I think
Eyes
it
is
would be
doing.
cool. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool maybe to see like just instead of being told to see like a dialogue that kind of emphasizes this between. So like you got like two guys who are going to go make the fort, and you got one other guy who's just wants to farm, but he's like peer pressured into helping out with the fort or something like that, and not farming or something, and there's like this interesting like anyway, it just gives like the actual villagers outside the core cast a bit of flavor and character. I thought that would have been interesting.
Bacon also hates exposition, right? That's why he hates Hana, so he doesn't like the narrator stuff.
Yeah,
but narrators are cool. I like
guys. If yeah, Hana is we'll see a bit more of that soon. Checking on the Jarkey Bacon channel.
Don't worry, Bacon.
Sorry,
I ate
Ari.
it too.
Good stuff.
And we hate EliteAri for
Marian
lucky.
Dark is the best thing. The narration's great. I got a video. You watch my video where I say how great the narration is.
Yeah,
I watched that video.
No, I just like hating on Hunter x Hunter. I don't know what about the series, but
it's because everybody
many
likes
series I
it,
like
Bacon. It's
hating
fun to fuck with them. Don't lie.
Yeah.
no, it's just like maybe it's just because the problem straight. No, because like I don't make that much fun of Ava, and that show is stupid.
Well, because I'll kick you.
You know, like yeah. Oh, that's true. You are very scary. So. But yeah, well, I can make fun of Demon Slayer, but Hunter x Hunter, I don't know. There's something about that I just keep on thinking about. I'm just like, oh, this makes me angry for some reason, and I kind of like falling into the anger. It's good fun, falling into the dark side.
I personally would
And
never
making
make an
people
angry
who
video.
like it feel bad. That's the best part. Making people who like stuff have a worse day. That's so good.
We spread joy here.
Yeah.
Then we get the sort of Aina conversation. And me and Ari, actually, because we were streaming a little bit, waiting for Bacon to show up, we sort of teased talking about this beforehand and how much of a prick this Thorfinn is. Won't even entertain the hypothetical, Bacon. Can you believe this? Aina asks him,
Yeah, true.
what would happen if war breaks out? Are you really going to run? Aina clearly doesn't want to run, and he sort of basically is kind of implying that he might stay to defend the land because it is sort of a paradise here. He's sort of fallen in love with Arneid's village. There's sort of cool shots of all the pretty stuff. We got the pretty lettuce. We got the pretty sheep. We got the kids. Not pretty. Kids can't be pretty. And then the Arneid statue. That's pretty, though. So it is a very interesting conversation. But Thorfinn basically says compromise will be the way forward. Even if we don't want to expand, there's a neat little shout out back to the old master who said too much wealth brings disaster. And I think that's where we'll stop the recap because we can talk about this before we get into the Carly piping up, easy for me to say, about Hild. Thoughts on this bit?
Oh, one thing I saw in the sheep picture, there is a dude doing the sheep. So not all the men. We have confirmed that not all the men. Yeah, he's doing the sheep. He's doing a Welshman or
he's
or
doing the
Kiwi
pretty
for you
sheep.
Folks down there.
Yeah, that's what we say New Zealanders do. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, this is the Welsh for the Brits. But yeah, so he's so it doesn't seem like all the blokes. There are people doing. It's just most of them are spending all their resources on the wall, which of course, I guess we didn't really talk about the thematic detail there. They're focusing on not the construction, the wheat and creation. They're focusing on
destruction.
I guess preventing destruction. But it's kind of like the contrast of like the prologue to the farmland, which is then contrasted with Baltic Sea War, which is then contrasted to Vinland. There's like lots of destruction in war, and then lots of creation on a farm. So there's parallels, I guess. Sorry.
He's better at drawing lettuces than he is at hands. Look at these fucking things. Look at how pretty they are.
Oh my word. Yeah. And they've got a nice bit of variety to them as well. Like he's not drawn the same picture again and again. Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, all these hands are the same. They're not even impressive. EliteAri, you want to pipe in on this part?
Lettuce is great. He had 2 months to draw this lettuce. It's awesome. But this part is good. It's good. I like the thematic stuff. What else do they have here? I thought it was interesting how the anime is airing right now, and as he's drawing this, he's probably thinking to the farmland stuff that is on the anime, and he's like, oh, flashback to the anime stuff here, or like to whatever's the farmland stuff. Just like a meta thing. I wonder, like, when he's drawing this, is he like more likely to incorporate farmland stuff now that it's airing? I don't know.
It's like when Attack on Titan.
I reckon for something like this thematic point with the whole old man, I think he's been waiting to use it. I reckon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He brought it up in the farmland so he could bring it up again in Vinland.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's
sick.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Which is a good point because like peace is much easier to keep with the smaller group you have, like so the smaller group of people you have to like manage emotions and stuff like that then it's easier. But once you get to 3 million people or like a whole country, then convincing every single person is impossible to think of in your way. It gets a lot harder to manage. So there is
like you create hierarchies of power, right? Like you'd have small groups that are managed by people, and those people are managed by other people, and it all leads to the top somehow.
And then it leads to bureaucracy, which then leads to other problems, and then yada yada.
Actually, I had a separate funny point. Do you think they're going to institute a one-child policy so they don't have to expand to get more food? Do you think this is something Thorfinn would do in his ideology?
That's an interesting thought.
I think two children is alright. You just replace the parents.
He's gonna have 2 kids, right?
Yeah, true.
Because he'll have Carly and now a new kid.
But he's only had sex once, though. That's the key thing.
That's true. But I don't think he'll be morally opposed to sex, right? Like I think he would just.
Well, if pull-out method is only so successful, right? Wait, they talk about having condoms in Black Sails. So do they have them back here?
This is a long time ago.
This is a fair bit before. Hang on, I'm going to Google this right now. I'm going to stain my computer history.
There's like old versions of condoms that are probably less successful. We've probably perfected that technology a little bit more.
Yeah.
How was it? What's the general name for condoms? Like sexual
I think because Jack Rackham literally says condom in Black Sails, and that's in like the 1600s, right, Ari, or the early 1700s?
Birth control.
Yes.
Okay.
Early forms of birth control.
Because of the lack of birth control, this was the only way to prevent women from having illegitimate children. Okay, hold up. I just read. I think he's talking about marriage. If it's talking about illegitimate.
Yeah.
Viking women have a lot of rights compared to women in the rest of medieval Europe. Right to divorce was one of them. A woman could inherit her own land. She ran businesses and could become a priestess, even join men in battles on sea voyages. A woman, okay. I mean,
the point is with Thorfinn say no sex because you might get pregnant and that might fuck everything up. And we got to get our priorities straight.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I mean,
is Thorfinn controlling or more libertarian?
I mean, I don't think it'd be interesting to see if Yukimori went that way, because he's got 3 kids of his own, and if you know anything about Japan, having 1 kid is pretty unusual, right? They've got that aging population over there, so Yukimori is very pro baby.
Well, Yukimura doesn't really have to conserve because this is more indirect, because they don't want to cut down any more trees because the Linu people might get mad about it. So, and basically, if you have a lot of kids, you're going to have to expand at some point because there's not going to be enough food. I feel like everybody's
then again, lots of kids could die. This is medieval times.
Killing kids. Fuck yeah. Let's go, Thor.
Oh, yeah. This is the problem. This is why you need war. You need them to kill the kids.
Yes. Population control. We got to instigate some war. That's what Stern is really on.
I feel like there's no way Thorfinn would think about limiting the reproduction or whatever, purely because if he limits it for his own people, then he would have to limit it for the other people, right, as well.
Well, the Linu don't really destroy land, right? So
yeah, but they would still, the more people you have, the more resources you would need.
Yeah, but I feel like they've already got that under control, I guess.
The only don't, well, I guess if they did have wheat, but the thing is that the Lanu, they just or Elnu, whatever, the natives basically, I think their population isn't skyrocketing because they don't have really farming, right? They just eat off stuff in the forest. They don't have an over produce of wheat or rice or all these other things. But the thing is, the Vikings have brought them to, so maybe the extra produce is gonna increase the population. Actually, I'd never considered this before. Kyle, this is a good meme question.
It was one of the thoughts I had while I was reading. I'm just unlike Thorfinn, we can engage in some hypotheticals here.
True. Thorfinn would definitely lose in a debate to Destiny. 100%. Couldn't comprehend it. Just lose straight away.
The second point I actually had was anybody else pissy at Thorfinn in this scene for like undermining EliteAri? He's like, I can't believe you would ask this, EliteAri. I was like, shut up, Thorfinn, you fucking idiot. Is anyone else frustrated?
I like it a lot because it's just him being more stubborn. It kind of shows to me, because lots of people have been kind of theorizing or saying, oh, Thorfinn's just being stubborn like his old self, but he's being, instead of stubborn about revenge, he's being stubborn about his ideals and pacifism. This is a Thorfinn thing. This is this is going to be his downfall. And I wasn't super convinced that this was going, like, Yukimura was actually going to say this is bad, that he's being stubborn about this. But here it does feel like that, which which the first bit of evidence for it. So he does have a resolution for it. But
yeah, he like literally talks about
Einar's giving a nice, but Einar's giving a nice like good counter argument, and it's nice to see that Einar has a new giving another thematic flavor that's different to Thorfinn, which is very nice to see. I'm very happy about that, because Einar's been doing quite a bit of stuff around the farm. He's got a lot of small scenes, but he doesn't feel like he's asking major questions with regard to the plot or the themes, but more just doing small moments.
Indeed.
So, yeah.
The I completely forgot, because I thought of an anime joke, because I was going to say, yeah, he's thinking of his family all the time and try to shit on the anime somehow. But it made me forget my actual point. Oh no. My hubris has gotten to me again, just like it's going to get to Thorfinn. What was I going to say about Einar?
Thorfinn does give responses
No, I had moved on from that one.
Say something? You moved on, okay.
Fuck. It was actually an interesting point. Oh, Einar, sort of the if we had to moralize here, Thorfinn is probably still in the right, because basically it's Einar's falling into like, I really like it here though, but that's sort of goes into the war sort of cycle, like wanting to defend where you are because you like it a lot and you'd rather fight and kill somebody else than have to give it up. Whereas Thorfinn, we remember, he's going to run. No matter what, he will sort of self-sacrifice. It's sort of the pacifistic ideology that he has.
Yeah.
So
you could say that, like... Sorry, go ahead, keep going.
No, I'm pretty much done.
I would say it's similar to Thor's in a way, where Thor's like fought to protect it. He didn't fight to protect it, but he like went out of his way to make sure his village was safe, right?
Yeah.
Like he went and fought Asklad or whatever.
Sort of self-sacrifice.
Einar is kind of there. Yeah.
Because pacifism is
like
sort of all about self-sacrifice, right? It's based. It's not even doing like what's morally right. It's like doing like further. It's like, well, I will literally be a martyr almost to try and help everybody, rather than. I feel like in most moral systems, sort of defending yourself is sort of a core part of it, and sort of your right to self-defense and things like that.
I think that's a big question towards Thorfinn. I guess like there is a distinction to be made that Thorfinn is in a different time, in a specific situation. His argument makes more sense than maybe applying it to the real world. But at the same time, it'd be nice to see what is the arguments for in the real world where there aren't many places to run to. There isn't a new this is like the big difference. Like Thorfinn can just go across the sea and well, escape war, quote unquote. Like there isn't war in North America already, but he escapes the Viking War. That is so much more common, or something like that. But
I think if we thematically take that scope, I feel like it's sort of like the thing of like, well, most people reading it probably aren't going to be involved in a war in their lifetime. I'm sure there are some Ukrainian fucking Vinland Saga fans though, so that's a hell of a thing. But like, I feel like it's more like if you're in any sort of potential like mundane, normal, violent situation, like a bar fight or something, sort of the thematic message could be, well, just don't fight, just like run away. And it sort of fights the like, oh, you're going to get called a pussy if you run away. And Thorfinn is sort of like embodying against the sort of falling for that sort of mentality. But yeah, it's always hard with themes and stuff, because sometimes, especially when it is sort of not a global, but a national sort of, we're talking about like big groups of people and people in power, when the readership really is never going to be most of the time that type of person. It's always interesting, but yeah, nonetheless, I don't know if that made sense. But...
and it's always a little bit hard to talk about the themes entirely because the story isn't over. We don't know if Thorfinn will be proven wrong, or if he will be affirmed in the end, or how we're going to really tackle it. But yeah, it's nice to see that Einar has a different perspective. It's like he's invested so much time. It's easy to run where you don't love the place that you come from, I guess. Like when you say it's sunken cost, I guess, and
a little bit.
Yeah, I like that Einar too. He's just being honest. He's got this is the best bros going at it. So
the compromise idea is interesting. With Thorfinn's basically like, well, if they don't want us, like, because obviously, what's the one-handed priest's name now?
Just call him Misquay or the shaman.
The shaman fella. Obviously, one of his big talking points is like, oh, they're going to destroy the forest and stuff. So Thorfinn's like, well, we can just not destroy the forest anymore. That's an easy compromise. But yes, his sort of residual stubborn, there will be no war, I won't allow it, and then that being exactly what Hild said. It's cute. Should we move into the Hild stuff now? Or the Kali stuff about Hild?
Yeah, sure.
Ari, you got anything else to say?
I guess my only other thing is that we got the new translations for the
at the
names
end.
now.
Yeah. I think they should be phonetic. So if you just try and say them how you read them, like Nisquajija is the same, but then the priest is Misquek Puj. I think Misquek Puj. Anyway, that one sounds different to how I was looking it up. So
and Pulmug just kind of got rid of all the vowels.
Yeah, Pulmug. It's just stay the same. Yeah.
Well, we talked about this last time. I can't remember which side of the arguments we were on, or if there was an argument. I was almost going to listen to it before we came in here. I'm pretty sure I said Hild was going to kill these pricks, and somebody said I was stupid. Was that you, Bacon? Or was I saying you were stupid for saying Hild was going to kill him? Yeah, because I was feeling validation, but I'm like, am I feeling Bacon's validation? Or have I just forgotten the fucking side I took in this argument? But basically, it's a cool little build-up here with Kali's monologue, said the same thing, and Thorfinn sort of realizing what it means. It's a great little moment. But basically, the idea is that, well, the very heavy implication is that Hild is going to, for the greater good, kill the three brothers, if they are brothers, so that we can avoid war.
Tattoo gang.
And
brothers.
Maybe the shaman too, because last time she had a vision. Well, panels appeared of Ivar and Ivar, and the shaman as sort of those two with her ire, and we now know her ire is murderous, so she's gonna kill them all. Fun times.
I still don't think she's gonna shoot them straight away.
No, she's absolutely not gonna end up
trap them. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting if she did, but like, she's definitely doing some scare tactic or something. Like, yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting.
I think her intent.
She still sees Ivar as the problem, but the issue is revealed this chapter is actually Sturk's the main problem. Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you think next chapter that we'll get Ivar and Hild on the same side against Sturk? Or like getting Hild's position here was to kind of reveal Sturk to Ivar or something like that?
No,
because I do think Ivar's going to be against Sturk now. Like he'll be upset that he manipulated things to.
Stupid. I think he's just like,
really
okay.
Interesting. I didn't take it that way at all. I assumed that's what I kind of took when he's like, "Don't look at me like that." It's like this is going to be a big thing for Ivar. Obviously, Sturk is still his brother, if that is what it is. So he's not going to hate him. But I think he will go. Maybe he'll apologize to Thorfinn or something even, and be like, I didn't pick up all the signs. I think this is a big character moment for Ivar if he's to see if he's not all talk. Because so far, like he's able to talk it with conviction. Like he's not like just parroting like, "Oh, I need to be a good leader." Like genuinely in this chapter, he's like, a leader must be willing to accept danger. I need to be leading here. We need to be quiet in this forest. All this type of stuff. He's taking it very, very seriously. But now he's actually in danger.
what does he do? Does he run like Sturk tells him, or does he stay with his brothers to defend them from Hild?
Yeah,
Because
he's
that's what
definitely going to stay, I
he
think.
needs to do. Yeah, like does he have the conviction to do so? And I reckon I don't think he would necessarily be for or against that. He just doesn't. He just needs. He's just had a bomb dropped on him, and he needs to comprehend it. Like, yeah, he hasn't had time to really stew on it, so he may be just conflicted because he's brothers, right?
Yeah.
But then again, he's also, this is new information. He doesn't know quite how to contribute. But I always think, like, he's always going to sit back and defend his family. I don't see him, letting Hild get her way with Sturk if it becomes violent, at least. So
yeah. I guess what I'm picturing in my head is that Hild never actually goes to them. Like, she will stay in the background and let them have their argument. And maybe at the end she'll step in or something and be like, "Oh, see, after all, I was just trying to get you guys to fight or something, and here we are. Or everything's clear."
Interesting.
Yeah, this kind of factors into my comment, and question rather. And it seemed like Bacon was also on a almost similar Ari side. So do you think she has murderous intent right now? Because I think she does. And I think what's probably going to happen is Thorfinn's going to give a big speech and she's not going to kill him. And then it'll also be interesting how Thorfinn in the society is going to handle attempted murder. Does Hild go to prison for 12 years?
Yeah, well, Ivor's not being punished because he got voted on doing the right for maiming someone, right?
Yeah.
This is a question that we kind of talked about before, but it hasn't been answered. How does justice on Vinland get dispensed? Who, like, because Halfdan kind of talks about when they're talking with Thorfinn, it's like, the reason why the police works is because the government in your country has the monopoly on violence.
Yeah.
They have all the power to force you, if need be, to go to prison, and to call on justice. And that's like, and that's kind of, that social contract between you give this government your taxes, and they will make sure you're safe. They'll uphold justice and they'll, regulate policy and stuff. That's kind of like that social contract that you have. But yeah,
we don't
I
really
don't
have
know.
one.
I mean,
We haven't.
We haven't had
We have
to
the thing.
establish it yet.
What's probably going to
this is like
happen
a
is they're
massive
all going to have a
thing.
big emotional moment, and Hild will probably get forgiven. But you were saying something, Bacon, before I asked my question.
I feel like while that could happen, I feel like then
how do we get the conflict?
It feels a bit too fluffy and short. Like I like it feels like, oh, we're neatly. I don't think it can be neatly tied up very much. I feel like it needs to be more spicy. In terms of, like, we're at this stage in the story, I feel like something bigger needs to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not.
There needs to be some sort of climactic conflict. I did have a thought just now that, like, what if Sturk kills his two brothers and frames Hild for it, and then in that way Thorfinn has to try and figure out what was going on or something, and that could escalate conflict. But he does tell Ivor to run, so it seems to indicate that he actually does care about him, and he's not just a big Machiavellian, Lamau, I'm the secret bad guy type thing.
Yeah.
So I probably don't see that happening, but it was a thought.
Yeah, I think Sturk ultimately is. I think he's going to be. So people have kind of said, "Oh, he's playing Ivor and, like, he's going to backside Ivor." I genuinely think that he actually just wants to do what Ivor wants in the way that he knows and wants to support Ivor.
I think he understands he's the brains.
Yeah, but he also understands that I'm not sure if he really wants power for himself. I think he just wants power for Ivor because that's what Ivor said he wanted. And Ivor wants to be the leader, and so he wants to support his brother in that, even if it's a bit underhanded. And the reason why is because I say this is because, like, back in chapter 191, the one where Hild forgives Thorfinn, they're chopping the wheat, and Sturk's like almost kind of asking Ivor just to give up this whole leadership thing. That's my read of their conversation, where he's like, "Oh, the Thorfinn book's pretty nice. We're doing really well." And then Ivor's like, "No, there's gonna be war, and he's gonna break out." And then Sturk kind of looks like that and says, "Yeah, like ... And it kind of gives us feel that Sturk is like, oh, he's still on that. Oh, that's a shame. I mean, but maybe now he's like he's still thinking, oh, Ivor, you're being silly. Like, there is actually going to be no war because it's been a month, right,
Yeah.
since they've had this thing, and there's been no conflict. So
That's like the biggest reveal in this chapter, I think, is that Sturk is like, there's no way there's actually going to be a war.
yeah,
Which kind of feels like a definitive, like, this probably isn't going to happen in the narrative, but it's kind of has to. But also, it's sort of like, yeah, I just wanted power over the settlement. Well, for you to have power over the settlement is what he says. And this was the best way to sort of fearmonger. But what might happen is that it gets out of control and a war actually does start, and they're kind of powerless because Ivor is actually a fraud and can't fight, and Sturk doesn't like to fight, and the other brother's freaking out because, I don't know. I can see him doing that. I could see that happening, and they're sort of like regretful or something.
Yeah, I mean, there is something like maybe I'm reading too much into this, but the fact they've got another brother, right? And maybe they're not brothers by blood, but they're basically brothers in terms of being a band.
Yeah.
And they're looking out for a guy who has disabilities. In a world where might makes right, someone can't talk or can't hear very well. They are looking out for him. That says something about how they do genuinely care for each other, and they're not, I'm just going to leave people in the dirt. So there is something there. Yeah, they're an interesting group. I do still wonder what Sturk's main motivations are, because I do think because it can't. I don't believe for a second he just wants power for power's sake. I think that's way too reductive of a motivation for him. Yeah, it feels like quite a boring reveal, in my opinion. If that's just the case, if he's just, I just want power over the settlement. I was like, there's probably going to be more stuff there. They're probably going to get backstory to why, as children, they want it or something.
I think it might just be that, and it's sort of his. I think he's going to look stupid by the end, even though he's such a clever little prick. I think, like, the war's going to happen, and he's going to be, like, standing there, and Thorfinn's going to be giving a monologue about, like, see, this is what war is, you idiot. And he'll be like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Like, there's a theme of, like, he's bringing up, like, fear-mongering in politics to help pour resources into getting the war just so you can gain political power. There is an element of that there. And it's like, I don't know, like Iraq using 9/11 or whatever to like go get oil. That's the meme, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot about recent history, but yeah, something like that.
Because he is basically talking about it politically here, in terms of positioning political power, but I don't know. I feel like I don't have much more to say about this scene, and that's kind of the end, because the final bit of the chapter is the basically the reiteration that Hild is coming to kill you, and whether or not that will happen. EliteAri, you got any, or anybody got anything else to say about this before we do like predictions and stuff?
I would say that I agree with Bacon.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Could Sturk get out of this hole? This is my question.
Wait, literally?
Yeah, like he's only like up to his armpits. Like, surely you could get out. Like, or is there?
I don't know how it works. I don't know what the trap is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Like the rope makes sense. Like, he's not getting out of that. Like, he's hanging pretty far up on a tree, right?
Yeah.
But there's this whole thing here.
I feel like it's implying that he can't get out of there. That's like the whole. He's freaking out there. His eyes got serious.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I don't know.
because if I recall from my Pokemon watching experience, and Team Rocket likes to dig holes, and then they accidentally fall in their own hole. More of that hubris we've been talking about. But it looks like there's some dug up leaves around him. I think that's on like a net, so you can't like push up. Is my assumption of how the booby trap works.
I see.
Because in Team Rocket, they would dig the hole, they would throw a net, and then they would put leaves on it, and then they'd be like, haha, we're going to get him. And they would like walk, and they would walk straight over it like a Looney Tunes cartoon, and then they would get out and try and walk on it, and they would fall in. And it'd be a big no. Classic joke. Pokemon's great.
Yeah.
So the point is there's a net.
Yeah, and do you think I think you said earlier, Kyle, that you thought that Hild was watching this whole exchange. I think that was Ari. Do you think she's watching? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Do
that's
you
right.
think?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
didn't get that impression the first time. Like maybe she will come out of nowhere. Um,
Or where
yeah,
else would she be? Do you think she's like
that's true. Where
not
else would
near
she
these
be?
people here? I would assume she's watching them all this whole time.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
good
from like
point. I mean,
afar.
she
I
could be
think
setting
Ari's
traps up.
implication was more so that like she could hear them, and she's like, oh, now I know that Sturk is the real. I guess she already
Yeah,
had
so
figured
she's
that
on her
out.
way over at least.
It's
Yeah,
sort of like she was
yeah,
recording it, and we're gonna play it for the whole tribe, and it'll be a confession.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
yeah. One thing about the whole, one thing like, so I think everybody's like, Hild's coming to kill you, but I think like, if Hild can't kill Thorfinn, you know, like I feel like she's gonna have a really hard
Well,
time
this
actually
isn't
being
a
that
motivation
credible.
of hate,
She has,
Bacon. It's out of love for the greater good. Whereas Thorfinn was just personal
yeah,
revenge. They're different
yeah,
motivators.
but I still think
Yeah,
she's
I don't
not
think she's gonna do
got the
anything.
ability to really pull the trigger. Like so, but yeah, Thorfinn does know about it now, which would be interesting if like we're back in the forest.
Yeah, he's gonna run back to her.
Hill's trying to kill someone, and then we're gonna have like Thorfinn versus Hill 2.0 or something like
Oh,
that. I don't
Einar's
know.
gonna jump in front of him again like last time. Because
Yeah,
Einar's there too.
yeah, true. This is gonna be interesting.
I feel like this Thorf Howard killing someone is kind of a chapter 200 like thing. I don't know. Do
True.
we think 200 is going to be something big or just another chapter? Because it does feel fast if like this is all done next chapter, which is kind of what you were
Yes.
saying earlier.
Well, so Yukimura did say like we're 95% of the way through the manga, which is kind of scary because that means we've got like 10 chapters left after 200. But so I mean, chapter 100, that was a big chapter when Thorfinn finally got home. That's when he met his mum
Yes.
again and stuff.
Everyone's
Worst
favorite
chapter in the
chapter.
manga.
Yeah.
So maybe that chapter 200 will be the worst chapter in the manga. So,
Maybe.
again.
I think I just had the idea. I just put it all together, everybody. All right. Now at the beginning. Now this all predicates on something I'm actually not certain on. So at the beginning of this scene, they say like it's close to the Gippy. Now is this the Linu or this is the other scarier tribe? Which one is this?
No, so Gippy tribe is
just a different one.
the Elnu.
Oh, right.
So yeah, Gippy's the name of the elder, their leader. So that's why it's called the Gippy tribe.
Well,
so
that
if
kind of
you
undercuts
go
my
back,
point.
you can kind of see. Oh, shame.
I was gonna say,
but yeah,
I think what will happen is because we've teased the scarier band that Leaf's first thing. They have to show up at some point, and I think they might instigate something. And maybe we tie in thematically the sins of the father or something here of like previously this has happened and we have to make this right or something. I feel like they might be who we end up at war with just because it's like, oh, the Elnu, most of them want peace, so we're probably not going to go to war with them.
Well, so the scary tribe did shoot a lot of arrows and there wasn't any, like they shot to scare off. Yeah, that's for sure. And I think the shaman's thing is that he just wants them to go, not necessarily kill them, but he will kill them if they won't go.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. He won't compromise with them probably not going. And this is a big question, right? Like Thorfinn talks about compromise, but what happens to people who are in position of power who don't want to compromise? So I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but the tribe has to come back somehow. I'm almost certain. I don't know if this is the situation, but yeah. Because initially,
I feel like there's so much to do in 10 chapters. There's no way, right?
All
maybe there is.
Fucking Oda said 12 years ago that he had 5 years left, all right? Oh, shit, I forgot my point. Hold on. Oh, when I first saw this scene and they were going through the woods, and I kind of did assume that they meant the other tribe, even though the other tribe is like on an island of way far away. So what was I thinking? But that's what I thought. I'm like, oh no, these idiots are going to get killed by a separate tribe, and they're going to think it's the Linu, and that'll be how we escalate it. Now, killing off these characters right now probably was never going to thematically or planning-wise, organizationally was probably never going to happen. But that was an assumption I had at the beginning of this scene. The point is, they're in the back of my mind. They've been teased. They got to show up somehow. How will it happen?
Yeah. How would it happen? I also want to say I love Gangletti's pose upside down here, when he's like upside down. I think it's such a cool art. We like it a lot. Whoa.
He's hanging. How come nobody said, "How's it hanging" to him? That's a funny one, right? I feel like they say that in Pokemon a bunch too.
Nice.
I wish this was Pokemon. Don't you just love Pokemon, Bacon?
I do like Pokemon. I just don't like how they treat their workers.
Well, I don't know what to say to that. Ari, jump in.
I hate Pokemon. What a bad series, bad franchise.
Better be tuning into this fucking Nuzlocke when it starts up. You don't want to know how I'm treating those workers. They're getting killed if they lose. Crazy stuff. What a shill.
Right,
I didn't even realize I was shilling that. Do we have any other predictions, or are we wrapping things up?
I reckon we're wrapping things up. There's so many ways it could go. Yeah,
we're all
I
excited.
think we had a pretty good conversation. You know, we talked about one-child policy. That's pretty good.
Indeed, and medieval condoms. Well, we didn't really get to a conclusion on that front. Would Thorfinn say, you don't really need sex, so no more sex? It seems like a Thorfinn thing to do. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Well, I think am I transitioning into the outro? Last call.
Wait, actually. Wait
EliteAri, come in.
Previous chapter. The next time said Hild moves. This time, what does it say?
Something about assassination.
Hild shows her true ability. Trying to avoid war by assassination for Hild, this is the solution. It's interesting. This, in a meta way, confirms that Hild will kill them. But these have been wrong, so I don't know what to think.
Or we'll try to kill them.
Well, it was right last time, though. Hild
shows her true ability. Does this mean ability we don't know, or the ability that Sturk and I don't know? This is a good question.
Yep. All right, that's it.
Well, crazy. We'll find out next time. So, for Jarkey Bacon, for EliteAri, for me, that's me to you, we'll be back next month, and you'll probably see us beforehand because we will be talking about the Vinland Saga anime. Probably the first 4 episodes, hopefully. We still have to schedule all that out. With that being said, support links in the description below. Thanks.